Hey everyone, welcome to my new YouTube channel. Pretty excited. Pretty excited to tell you how I choked in the match and finally made it to radiology at the end after a long, tough, anxiety-filled journey. So for me, I graduated med school in 2023 from Florida, and I had applied to orthopedic surgery. I had 4 away rotations plus my home away. Spent nights in the OR, overnight, during the day, 12 hours, you name it, call, weekends, all that stuff. And the bitterness has gone now, luckily, thankfully. Got 8 interviews, and I knew I had a weak application, according to my program director at least. 262 on step 1, 250 on step 2, so I really choked there. That was kind of like a warning. And I had minimal research. And later I found out I had weak letters of recommendation. Of course, there's no way to know that at the time. Or maybe there is if you read the room, and maybe I wasn't good at reading the room. So in terms of my grades, I had honors in surgery, PC, and everything else except for a pass in psych. And of course, people say their scores. They say this, I had this, and you say, "Wow, like, oh my God, you had the score, you didn't match. It's impossible." At least that's what I heard. Well, not everyone says the truth. So I think in a future video, I'll be uploading some screenshots and some stuff like that. So, March came around, I didn't match. I had kind of an idea that I wasn't going to match, but still I was in denial. I never really believed it. I was like, everything's going to work itself out. Everything did work itself out eventually, but definitely at that time I thought, man, everything, it just sucks. It's terrible. I'm not matched. I don't have a job. I don't have a future. What's the point of going to med school? And I was definitely down and sad and not very optimistic. But, one step at a time. So didn't match, entered the SOAP, of course. You got 50 things that you can apply to. So I kind of wasted like 10 of them applying to like random things that I would never get, like radiation oncology or something. I just thought like, oh, maybe they're just desperate for somebody, but that wasn't the case. Ended up getting 9 interviews in the SOAP, all of them for TY years or internal medicine years. And then I got 1 spot in internal medicine as a prelim in the SOAP. And, the SOAP experience to me was very kind of anxiety filled. And my med school, maybe they have good intentions or not, but I really was not willing to put my trust in them because I didn't match Ortho, and they were, the guides. So I was like, how are they going to really help me in the SOAP? They don't really care about my goals. They just want someone to match because it helps their rankings and things like that. At least that was my impression, and to some degree it still is, even though people did help me along the way, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I ended up matching internal medicine prelim year. I had submitted to them in the SOAP application my personal statement to orthopedic surgery. And I had said, like, I'm also interested, there's a spot in the SOAP for prelims and TYs to put, like, what you're interested in going next year, since obviously a prelim is by definition 1 year. And I put diagnostic radiology. So I was hoping that my program director, like, knew about my interests outside of internal medicine. Later I found out that wasn't really the case, and it was necessary for me to end up transferring out 2 months into my prelim year to a surgery prelim, which opened up, I believe, doors for me to actually pursue orthopedics or radiology. I ended up matching into radiology, but if I had wanted to, or if I had put more effort maybe into shadowing with orthos at my new institution, maybe I would have ended up in ortho. But I realized after starting the surgery prelim, the hours just didn't allow. What I did though is I delayed my graduation by a month and I rotated in. I had one rotation left anyways, which is emergency medicine. I did like 13 shifts. And then I rotated in 2 weeks of anesthesia and 2 weeks of diagnostic radiology. And at that point, I was really wanting to make sure I had a job. So I explored like all options, got rec letters from anesthesia, got rec letters from internal medicine, got rec letters from emergency medicine, got rec letters from radiology, got rec letters from orthopedics. And I was like, I'm going to reapply to like every single specialty there is, you know, but eventually I only applied to orthopedics and radiology. Ended up getting 3 interviews for ortho. They were all in person except one, so I had to like fly out, take like vacation time and all that, use it up. And then I got 15 radiology interviews. And I ended up matching it into radiology back in Florida. So kind of the reason I'm starting this YouTube channel and just, you know, this video, I'm definitely not going to be spending a lot of time editing it, so you're just going to have to deal with whatever grammar and English mistakes I make along the way. But you know, the SOAP process and matching, it's, people say sometimes it's random or it's unfair, or you know, the best people sometimes end up what's the word for it, falling through the cracks is what I heard. You know, you got a 262, like how did you not match? I can't believe it. You know, after going through this experience, I don't think it's random. I think there was deficits that I had to accept in my application, my personal statement, my people skills, my interview skills that I discovered and took a while to work through and reach out to people and just ask for honest feedback, and made changes to my approach, the way I emailed people, the way I talk, the way I face the camera, the lighting, all of the things for virtual, for in-person, the type of jokes I made, or even just having a joke prepared, which turns out to be super important. So I don't think it's random. If you didn't match, you know, you can follow this channel for some hopefully advice on how to match, how to secure a future. I know people who've applied a second time still didn't match, and you know, it's really unfortunate. What is unfair is that you finish med school, maybe you don't have another skill set, so you can't fall back on anything else. In my case, I didn't have another skill set. I didn't have another previous career. So, you know, I needed to match to have a job, to feed my family, to, you know, live and pay rent and things like that. And that was a real driver to take whatever I could in the SOAP. But then later, when I was unhappy with my internal medicine residency and I found out that it wasn't going to help me achieve the goals that I wanted, it also was a driver for me to transfer, reach out to programs, solicit support from anyone who was willing to help me, and, you know, carve my way, my own path somewhere else. So I ended up matching diagnostic radiology with a gap year, so I'll have a year off where I can work in urgent care, do research, or, you know, get any job that's hopefully productive, and then prepare myself for diagnostic radiology residency starting in July of 2025, back in Florida, where I'm from.